The Jay thing, you could tell the lawyer wrote that statement instead of the publicist because he was being a little combative. Jay-Z released a statement, I would say almost like immediately once this happened. The statement is something from, you can tell it was written by a lawyer. Because there's a point where it kind of gets aggressive. He says, you're gonna find out, like how I'll handle this.
Okay, y'all, tell me why 50 Cent is out here literally paying court fees for Jay-Z's alleged secret son just so the man can keep dragging Jay back into court. And he's not just throwing money around quietly. Nah, he's making it loud. Word is 50 is now including Rhymir, that's the alleged son, in his upcoming documentary about Diddy and Jay-Z.
Who is the most overrated hip-hop star of all time?
Overrated?
Yeah.
I mean, Jay-Z, he would say he was overrated. Rather be overrated than underpaid.
Jay got all the trophies, man. That's because he signed that contract.
What contract?
The one with Beyonce. No, if you don't sign, you don't give him a trophy, she ain't coming.
Because he sold his touring career to Live Nation, they got to keep him hot enough to go get their money back. So they match him up with him, put them together because he got momentum connected to his relationship with Beyonce and his record with Alicia. It makes sense. It makes sense that it's the Detroit, New York show, but it only makes sense to me because of business. It makes sense because them sold like 60 million records more than them. You put them there like the equals. It's tough for me to say some of this. I sound like a hater, but I don't care.
All right, so let's get into it. The guy at the center of this whole mess, his name is Rhymir Satterthwaite. And trust me, this isn't the first time his name's come up. Rhymir's been claiming for years that Jay-Z is his real father. Like, this isn't some clout-chasing TikTok stunt. This dude's been pushing the story since he was a teenager. But now, he says he's got even more receipts and he's not backing down. So here's the basic story. Rhymir's mother, Wanda Satterthwaite, claimed that she and Jay-Z had a one-night stand back in the early 90s. She was just 16 at the time. And yeah, that part alone already raises eyebrows. Years later, Wanda signed an affidavit, like an actual legal statement, explaining everything. She swore under oath that Jay was Rhymir's father and that she only put another man's name on the birth certificate to avoid all the mess and legal drama she knew would come from naming Jay. So yeah, from the jump, this whole thing was already complicated. And Jay-Z, he's been silent. And here's the weird part. He's never taken a DNA test. Rhymir and his godmother say they tried multiple times to get Jay to agree to it. And each time, Jay's team either shut them down or flat out ignored them. They even said lawyers were sent to block any progress. Now come on, if a DNA test could clear your name in 2 seconds, wouldn't you just take it? So when people say this whole situation sounds fishy, they're not wrong. Like, you'd expect Jay to just do the test, end the drama, and move on. But for over a decade, that hasn't happened. And that's exactly why people are starting to look at this a little differently now. Now here's where things really start to heat up. Because according to Rhymir's godmother, and she's been very vocal, Jay was actually thinking about stepping up at one point. She says there were private talks happening, Jay allegedly showed interest in Rhymir's music, and there were even whispers that he might help him get signed. But then, everything stopped cold. The godmother claims the moment Beyonce got wind of what was going on, Jay's attitude completely flipped. Like, it went from maybe we can figure something out to never contact us again. And you know what? That kind of makes sense. Think about it, this all went down before Blue Ivy was born. Jay and Bey were reportedly dealing with fertility issues at the time, trying to have a baby of their own. So if suddenly a grown son popped up, that could have been a big emotional hit. Not just personally, but publicly. We're talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z here. Their brand is everything. Family is part of that image. So when folks say Beyonce might have pushed Jay to cut ties for good, it doesn't sound too far-fetched, especially when you realize what's at stake. We're talking about $1 billion empire built on music, fashion, business deals, and a perfect family image. A secret son from another woman? That could shake up everything they've built. And now here we are, years later, and people are still pointing fingers at Beyonce. Some think she's the reason Jay never took that DNA test, that she didn't want anything or anyone threatening their empire. And let's be real, in a world where image is money, that logic holds up. But guess who wasn't buying any of that silence and secrecy? 50 Cent. And let me tell you, when he stepped in, he brought all the smoke.
Oh, she was like on a windowsill.
Right.
We was in Vegas. She said, I come over, I'm talking to her. She jumped out, she was like, duh, duh, duh. And I'm like, wait, what is you doing? That stuff, that's me and Jay-Z stuff. This ain't got nothing to do with you, girl. Come
so Hov wasn't there?
I'm talking to Jay.
Talking to Jay.
As soon as I talked to Jay, she jumped down, came over. I said, oh, get this.
They about to jump you.
You lucky Solange wasn't there.
Yeah, you lucky Solange wasn't there.
Solange was there, I would have had to reboot. Solange looked like she popped in that elevator like it was nothing. It was some gangster going on there. Jay couldn't do nothing, huh? What?
So what did B say, or she was just staring at you?
Nah, she came like she was ready.
She's
like
ready.
I thought something was gonna happen. And I'm like, yo, whoa. She's throwing me off now. Because I don't know exactly how to respond to this. You are still Beyonce. You know, she brought all of the sexy over. With that energy, jumping off, and I'm like, what the?
All right, so let's talk about how 50 Cent just couldn't help himself on this one. You already know, 50, if there's a moment to throw shade or stir drama, he's front row with popcorn and a camera. But this time, he didn't just clown Jay-Z, he doubled down and invested in the chaos. Let's start with the trolling. 50 posted a picture of Jay-Z on a milk carton like he was missing or something. Yeah, classic 50. The caption, anybody seen Jay? And then followed it up with, he ain't coming outside till the heat dies down. Like, this man turned Jay-Z's possible secret son drama into meme content and his followers ate it up. But here's the thing, it didn't stop at jokes. Once Rhymir's name started buzzing again, 50 went from memes to money moves. He reportedly reached out to Rhymir directly and offered to cover his legal fee. Yeah, not just supporting him publicly, 50 is literally paying for the guy's lawyer so he can keep taking this case to court. And if that wasn't enough, 50 also said Rhymir's gonna appear in his upcoming documentary, the same one that's supposedly exposing Diddy and Jay-Z. So now, this isn't just Instagram beef, it's turning into a full Smale production. A docuseries with receipts, testimonies, and legal drama? That's the kind of thing that makes headlines and shakes boardrooms. Now let's be real, this is more than just 50 Cent being petty. This is strategy. 50 has had beef with Jay-Z and Diddy for years, and what better way to hit them than through a documentary that brings all their past skeletons to light, especially if he's giving a platform to someone they've tried to silence? And you gotta ask, if Jay-Z's been avoiding this DNA test for over a decade, and Rhymir really has signed affidavits and old letters from his mom, then why not just take the test and move on? 50 Cent knows that question alone creates doubt, and he's using that doubt like fuel. But what's really wild here is how far 50's willing to go. This man isn't just poking fun anymore, he's out here acting like a one-man wrecking crew, throwing money, media, and memes into the fire. He's basically saying, if y'all won't talk about it, I will, and I'll make sure everybody hears it. Now, let's shift gears to Beyonce, because according to insiders, she is not here for any of this. Word is, once she found out that Rhymir might be part of 50's documentary, she lost it. Not publicly, of course. This is Beyonce we're talking about. Behind the scenes, she reportedly told Jay that this needs to be handled immediately. And honestly, can you blame her? Think about it. For years, she and Jay have built this ultra-polished, untouchable power couple brand. Every move is calculated. Every image is curated. They've worked hard to protect that legacy, not just for themselves, but for their kids. And now, here comes 50 Cent with a documentary that could blow up everything. If Rhymir goes on camera, shares his receipts, tells his story, and 50 packages it with footage, documents, maybe even clips of Jay avoiding legal steps, it's not just gossip anymore. It's evidence. And that makes it real for a lot of folks who were on the fence. Plus, we've heard the rumors for years that Beyonce wasn't exactly thrilled when this secret son story first popped up. Some people close to the situation have said she told Jay straight up not to take the DNA test. Because back then, it was just the two of them. No Blue Ivy, no twins. A surprised grown child would have been messy. And now, that old mess is back and louder than ever. That's why this documentary situation isn't just annoying to be, it's threatening. If it blows up big, it doesn't just hurt Jay's image, it chips away at her brand too. And we all know Beyonce doesn't play when it comes to her legacy. Let's be real. If you were Beyonce and your husband had this kind of mess brewing from the past, what would you do? Would you tell him to just take the test and end it, or protect the brand and hope it all goes away? Drop your take in the comments, because I know opinions are flying on this one. But hold up. We're not done yet, because the drama has officially hit the courts.
He said, "This is a victory. The frivolous, fictitious, and appalling allegations have been dismissed." He said, "The trauma that my wife Beyonce, my children, loved ones, and I have endured can never be dismissed." He said this 1-800 lawyer gets to file a suit hiding behind Joan Jane. They quickly realize that the money grab is going to fail. They get to walk away with no repercussions. The system has failed. Finished it off by saying the court must protect victims, of course, while with the same ethical responsibility, the courts must protect the innocent from being accused with a shred of evidence.
Okay, so here's where things start heating up legally. Jay-Z's legal team recently tried to shut the whole paternity case down again. Yep, they filed motions calling the case nothing more than decade-long harassment. They basically argued that Rhymir Satterthwaite has no legal grounds because this has already been dismissed in various courts before. They were hoping the judge would just toss it, end of story, but guess what? The court wasn't having it. The judge denied Jay's request to dismiss. In fact, the court hit back and told Jay-Z he must respond to the allegations by July 18th. That's a real deadline, not some vague threat. The judge is essentially saying, enough dodging, either show up or things are moving forward without you. And let's be real, this changes everything. Up until now, Jay's been avoiding the courtroom, ducking DNA tests, and letting his lawyers do the talking. But now, the court wants direct answers. And that means Jay either has to face this head on or risk letting the courts make decisions without him. And here's why that matters. Rhymir isn't backing down. This isn't just a fame grab for him, at least not from what he's been saying. According to court documents and public statements, he's been trying to prove this since he was a teenager. His late mom reportedly always told him Jay-Z was his father. So now, Rhymir says he wants closure, not just